Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be working on my Mark 2.5, doing what is probably the most needed mod, which is fitting a set of decent coilovers. If anyone's seen the last video, the car is currently sitting on TA Technics, which are like an eBay set of coilovers. They cost about 200 quid for the four corners. After picking up these brand new set of HSD coilovers from Auto Styling Ireland, I have a discount code for them as well. It's AOR5. I'll leave it on the screen here. You can check them out. They have HSD coilovers for all different brands. They also do a lot of different wheels as well. I picked up my wheels for the MX5 as well from them, the JR3s. So check them out. I'll have a link to them down in the description as well. So I'm really excited to get these fitted. Hopefully it makes the ride a bit softer in the MX5, as it's been practically unbearable. The past year and a half I've done about 25,000 miles on the eBay coilovers, so we'll see what sort of condition they're like when we pop them out, and then we'll be putting these beauties in and we'll bring these for a test drive then. So after popping off the rear wheel here, you can see the the eBay coilover sitting in place here. So this big bolt down here definitely has to come out. I remember that from last time. And then into the boot. I'm not taking that off this time because the new coilovers have top mounts with them, but these two either side will come out because that's what's holding the coilover shock into the car. I can't remember whether anything else gets taken out for the back or whether I just kind of push down on it. So I'm going to remove those three bolts and have a go at just pushing down the whole hub assembly, and hopefully it'll pop out.
Perfect.
This coilover number one out is actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I think it's the fronts that requires a lot more work. The rear, it's literally just that one bolt in the bottom that holds in the bottom of the shock, and then the two bolts at the top, and then literally just jumping on that to get the kind of whole thing low enough, and then it just slides out. So I'm going to go do the other side, and then we'll look at fitting the new coilovers. Okay, so the rear suspension is out now. This is the old eBay coilover. As you can see, at the bottom there's only two collars. So that means when I'm adjusting them for basically ride height, I'm changing the preload as well. So the kind of lower you want to be, the stiffer it's going to be. As you can see, I was pretty high on these. There was a hell of a lot of adjustment down the bottom to go lower, which would have made it softer, I think. And then on the new HSD coilover here, so as you can see on the HSD coilover, there's two collars here at the top and one at the bottom. The one at the bottom will be for adjusting height, so the whole bottom kind of assembly gets spun. And then for these two, it's preload. So if you want to make it stiffer, you can basically move it up. But at the moment, when these are going in, I'm just going to put them on 0 preload. I think that's the way they're set when they come out to you. And then I'm going to hire the height up as high as I can, just to make it easier when it's going into the car. As you see, when I was taking it out, I really have to push down on it. So then I can put it in now when it's nice and short, and then once it's in there, bolt it in, I'll make it longer just so I can get the right height that I want. Another difference between these and these old crappy eBay coilovers is the adjustable dampening at the top, which can be spun to make them softer and harder. Coilover is now in place, so first thing I'm going to do is put in the top two bolts not too tight, and then I'm going to torque down the bottom one down here. Yeah, they're tight. So next thing I'll do is actually I'm going to leave this loose because I'm probably going to have to adjust the height again when it's down. So finally I'm just going to put in the lower bolt here. I'm just adjusting the height so that I can push this up enough just so that that bolt can go in easy. Coilovers are now on both sides of the car, and I'm after adjusting the height just so it's roughly the same, or that it is the same on both sides. I'm after roughly adjusting it to what I think will be okay. So what I'm going to do next is throw the wheels on. And now we're going to lower it down, see what the ride height is like. Hopefully it is half decent so I don't have to adjust too much. And it'd be great if it was perfect. Okay. Oh, that actually looks okay. Yeah, that's it's kind of high. I might leave it at that, as I know springs usually do need kind of time to wear in, and they will lower down a little bit. So, and I do go over a fuck ton of speed bumps on the way to college, so it'd be safer just to leave it at the height it is now and let it drop, and then just again later. So that's actually handy enough. The height it is at the moment, it is a lot higher than before though. You can see, even just compared to the front, you can see there's a fair bit of space there compared to the front where there's not much at all. So I've just after removing the coilover on the front right hand side, it's taken me about 2 hours to get this out. The main problem is just that most of the bolts are rusty in this. One of the main ways is to take out the big bolt, but that won't move. So what I done was basically just take the coilover apart inside. I loosened down the collar, which took me about 40 minutes to get loose, and then I undone the spring from the top. So I started taking piece by piece out, pushed it down, started taking out the rest of the pieces, like the top hats and the inner pieces from the top, and then eventually I took out the lower ball joint, I think it's called, and slipped the whole thing down through the bottom. It was, it took ages, so I'm going to quickly film the other side, show you kind of what I was doing. For the left hand side coilover for the front, I was doing the exact same side as the other side, by basically popping off the top hat and all that. Basically down underneath where I done last time, I lowered down the collar as low as possible, and then the spring was able to slip off, and then I was able to push down the strut sort of bar down. That was easy enough to bounce, like an oil sort of one. So I pushed that all the way down and the whole thing was able to slip out. Problem with this one is that the collars are just completely corroded. I can't move the bottom one anymore, so what I'm going to do is just cut the spring out. I'm finished, so I'm going to lower the car down now. This is the last side to be done. Oh, that is low, very low. Hopefully this matches the other side. I feel like this side is just a lot higher. No, that matches, so that is okay. Front seems to be good. Definitely a bit lower than before, I'd say. The back is like a monster truck. I'm gonna bring the car out now. First thing I'm gonna do is set all the dampening to the highest, so that'd be like the roughest. That's why I try that first, because the original suspension that was in it, the eBay ones, were so rough. You did, like, it was unbearable. So just want to see what it compares to from that. So I think it's everything to the right. So most of them are turned to the right at the moment. I think it's like 14 things of adjustment with these. Yeah, it's actually handy enough getting to these. They're pretty easy to get to. The main thing I want with this is just it to be a little bit more comfortable on the road. If anyone has eBay coilovers, it's unbearable. It's so rough for daily driving like I do with this car. It was just unbearable. So it's mainly the softer dampening that I want to be really good and very soft. We're going to try this out first, bring it out on the road and see what the hardest dampening's like, and then we'll put it all the way down to the softest, and I say that's what I'm going to drive it at, just because I want comfort for a while.